So the last chapter is definitely not the least chapter. In a lot of interviews, and I also saw it in a lot of organizations, descaling Agile is a super important topic. So descaling Agile means stripping away from unnecessary complexity that creeps in when organizations try to scale. Sometimes you end up with massive frameworks that bury the core values of Agile under layers of bureaucracy. We want to avoid that, and this is what we handle in this chapter. It is possible to turn lean method into a bureaucracy juggernaut by adding roles, ceremonies, and processes that serve no real purpose. If you find yourself referencing an 800-page Agile framework, you might have overscaled. So how can you see it? Symptoms of an over-bureaucratization includes endless sign-offs, too many coaches giving conflict advice, an overload of meetings, or a million integrated tools that no one properly uses. Instead of being more agile, you're stuck in red tape. So why does it happen? Overscaling often happens because leaders fear chaos. For example, they try to stay in control. Or you have a vendor who promises a silver bullet with a huge framework. Sometimes entire new agile departments crop up, creating buzzwork to justify their existence. Keep in mind, real agility is about removing friction and not adding it. So the negative effects can be huge. Effects of such bloat: innovation gets stifled, ceremonies become chorus, the team burns out, and deadlines get missed because time is spent in overhead rather than real work. That's the opposite of what Agile intended. So let's stick here to the effects in detail a little bit. Very often, creative ideas and creative discussions are important. When your ceremonies are too overstructured, you kill this creativity. Or when you have too many ceremonies, you simply don't have the time for it. Another problem could be that your ceremonies or meetings lost value. And especially the stand-up meeting is typically the first candidate for it because it happens so often. When it becomes robotic, you definitely should do something. When your retros are more like, and was everything fine in the last sprint? And everybody says, yes, all fine. And it's more these check in the box thing, you should do something. It's a starting point of these overscaled Agile stuff. Because when everything is fine, then potentially you don't need a proper retro meeting anymore and you shouldn't stick to the long thing. So maybe it's the case. But in most of the cases, there's always room for improvement. And you shouldn't stop to improve because this could mean you stop to be good. Also think about the bureaucracy. So there are very often a lot of amazing tools, and I'm the first person who is testing out new tools or new fancy things. The problem is it can be overwhelming for the team. There could be a good intention for implementing a new tool. Important is that the whole team adopt the new tool completely or on the point what's needed. So when you constantly add new tools and new processes, the team will be overwhelmed, and on some point they will bend to the side and ignoring the new stuff. And then you are also in this descaling Agile problem. An indicator, an effect of it is also that deadlines are not so important anymore. So because there was this other meeting, the other ceremony, and I haven't had enough time to work on the stuff, or I needed to create a slide deck to get the approval for feature XYZ. When you have these effects, then you are clearly in this overscaled Agile problem. So you should definitely do something here. So what are here descaling strategies? First, keep it simple. Return to the basics, like the official Scrum guide, which is only a few pages. Focus on short feedback loops. Empower teams to decide how they work, and sunset any processes or meetings that don't add value. But be careful with that, because we as humans, we make relatively quick the decision, okay, this meeting has no value, let's don't do the meeting. Try to optimize the meetings first. Try to get to the initial value what the meeting should deliver. In most of the cases, it's not a good idea to try to repair something with the action for throwing it away. Really try to fix the stuff what is broken. But definitely what you can do is minimize the meetings. And that's also why we created NASA, not another stand-up app, for making the meetings valuable, but also short, that your team has more time to work on stuff and getting things done. What are common pitfalls and anti-patterns? One is it includes scaled astrology framework, like deadlines for the sake of having deadlines, or bad news or bullshit feedback loops, collecting feedback but never acting on it. It could be also an obsession on story point as the only metrics, or the agile theater, where you do all the ceremonies but your decisions are still top down and you have somehow a waterfall project management, for example. What are now good principles to stay lean? Start small. Measure actual issues or inefficiency. Act on them and loop back quickly. The faster your improvement cycles, the less chance you have built a needless bureaucracy. Final thoughts. Let's keep Agile actually agile. Embrace change, empower teams, deliver real value quickly, and learn each step of the way. Don't let ceremonies become empty rituals. Use them as a vehicle for continuous improvement and collaboration. Thanks for joining the training, and I hope you take these insights to make your next sprint awesome. Thank you very much.